Hello and welcome to the Cabinboyknits Woolcast, coming to you deep from the Canadian forest.
This is still Christopher.
And this is the other guy,
Jamie.
We have a lot of yarn to show you this episode.
I'm going to talk about sheep and some history.
And I'm going to talk about knitters' guilds and spinners and weavers' guilds.
We went to a market and a yarn shop and we all got mail.
And I've been holding on to a secret since July and I can't wait to share that with you. So sit back, grab your favorite drink, and we'll tell you our story. Welcome to the cabin.
Bienvenue encore une fois, mes amis.
And we want to thank everyone for joining us today. And for those of you who've subscribed, thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate it. And for the new viewers, welcome. It is snowy outside.
Oh gosh.
I
didn't think we were going to talk about that.
I love the snow.
The snow's really pretty.
It's gorgeous. It's picturesque.
Did I say that convincingly? I do love the snow. I love the four seasons. It's looking like whiteness all around, and yeah, it is quite pretty. And one day soon we'll go snowshoeing.
It's postcard pretty.
Sure.
Okay, let's get into some mail, because I know you are wanting to talk about some mail.
Okay. Yes, let's start with that.
Okay, and you said we got mail. You didn't say you got mail. So we got mail, meaning that wasn't you, wasn't me, it was somebody else. It was Zan. Zan received some mail.
Yes, so excited because it's the first time since we've been doing this that I forgot that he gets something every now and again.
And who's it addressed to?
It's addressed to Zan Walker. I guess he's not my child because I would think it was Zan Walker Godin.
Or Zan Godin Walker.
Yes, but he is your baby, though, because you're the good dad, so I'm not even, am I?
I'm surprised that I thought that his name was on there. Maybe they just wanted to shorten it. Well, we'll see what it says. Can you read it? It's to, oh, that's the other one. That's the, this is a postcard that we have to send back to them with an update on Zan.
Oh, is that what we're supposed to do?
Yes.
Okay.
It was his birthday. So, Zan, it was your birthday. Zan, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, baby dog.
And it was November 16th. So, do you know how old he is? Zan?
4.
He's 4 years old.
4 years old?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And we were looking at pictures yesterday or a couple days ago when he was a puppy. No,
we saw a video.
Oh yeah, we saw a video.
And I didn't even remember one of your earliest videos.
Yes.
And there he was. He's just a little fuzzball running in the snow.
Yeah.
I didn't remember him being small.
So happy birthday, Zan.
He's not.
He's asleep.
He'll make an appearance when he's ready. That's how it always goes.
Yeah, that's how it always goes.
So yeah.
Excellent. We also received a lovely card from Brenda.
Brenda.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
And in that package was a bag. Not only one bag, but 2 bags. And they are addressed to each of us. And I've already started using mine.
I have yet to find a project. Mine says plaid. I don't know why mine's that much more special.
The shoe, that's perfect.
If the shoe fits, as they say.
And how did you know that was yours?
Well,
the shoe fit, that's why. That's how you knew it was yours.
Well, when I saw the bedazzled jewelry on the red pump, I thought,
it has to be.
I could relate. That is absolutely stunning. I have yet to start a new project, but I do have a couple of them in mind, which I'm going to be using this bag for my next project.
And look,
bag.
even the yarn, so the
I know
card is made with love, and it coordinates with the bag. The
it's
yarn
got a little
choosing.
knitted swatch, as you could maybe be able to pick that up just here in the corner. It's very creative and wonderful, and it's handmade with love. I would have to say thank you so much, Miranda. Much appreciated. And does yours have a little tassel?
Yes, it does. Yeah, and so I've started using mine already. It's a project that I will not reveal just yet.
And why is yours masculine, like matchy with your top?
It matches my shirt.
Well,
no, I'm wearing a shirt, not a top. I'm wearing a shirt.
What did I just say?
A top. Does it match your top?
Oh.
So this matches. Yeah, it's a pretty good match. Anyway, I've got a project that I'm working on. It's a Christmas present. And the person watches this episode, so I'm not going to talk about it yet.
I know, exactly. And, you know, I like it. Lumberjack, high heels. I don't know.
Lumberjack and Lumberjane.
I'm not agreeing to that. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
And we received something else in the mail as well.
What did we get?
We received a calendar from Two Sheeps.
Two Sheeps. What two sheeps?
Yes, and we received, well, did you watch our episode last year? We received a calendar from Two Sheeps as well.
I know.
And it was all about yarn and yarn dyers.
I think it's the people behind the Two Sheeps who sent the calendar, but I don't know if the Two Sheeps would have mailed it out.
You never know. There are very creative sheep out there.
There are.
And I love this calendar. I love it. It is alpaca farms and sheep farms and llama farms, and we know some of these farms in here.
Yeah.
And it's great. So every month has a different scene and a different farm.
Beautiful.
It's really nice.
And informative.
It's very informative.
It brings everyone together.
And here's
from month to month.
Here's the bonus for me.
Is there a bonus?
There's a bonus. The bonus is that they've already preloaded some of the events that go on in the year, like Rhinebeck and the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's great.
Okay, just in case we don't want to miss any of them.
So this is our official calendar that we're using this year to log and mark all of our events that we're participating in. So we'll put it on the wall.
We only have one or two potentials if all goes according to plans that seem to change on a regular basis. So
have you checked the calendar? We have more than a couple. I've already started loading it.
I like to be surprised because, I'm always the last one to know, and that's a fact. So, it's always a surprise, and I like surprises. So it's like, what? We're going where? When? What? I love it. So I'm not even going to look at that.
Yeah,
I'm going to look at the pretty pictures, but not the dates.
I spent a while and started filling it in with dates. So
where's his calendar kept? I think he keeps his secretly away from me because I think you keep it on your desk.
No, it's just outside of the kitchen. That's where it is. So
that's where it is.
So I will put a link to this so that you can, if you're interested in the calendar, you can go and buy one.
Yes.
It's great, but it's really, really good. And again, I love the fact that it's preloaded with some of the festivals, so you don't have to go searching for them and trying to find the information. It's great. So thank you so much, Two Sheeps, for sending us this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Excellent. Okay, so
any other mail?
I don't think so. That was it for our. There's bills. We got lots of bills.
Oh gosh, we're not going there. Okay.
Okay, so the next thing is our visit to the guilds.
The guilds.
The guilds.
We visited which?
The guilds.
So now which?
So why don't we talk about the guilds?
The guilds.
Yeah, because we participated in some fun things in the last little while.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So I will talk a little bit about the guilds, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you interested?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me what a guild is. And what is a guild? What guild?
This is especially for you, Jamie, and the audience who's watching it and appreciates Jamie's history. This is a little gift I'm giving you.
A gift.
A gift. The gift is the gift of knowledge.
The gift of silence. I think is what it is. For me.
Am I that transparent?
We're all about transparency. It's wonderful. That's the
I
now,
thought I was
now,
being subtle.
The now is all about transparency.
I won't take very long on this, but I did want to talk a little bit about this. And I was asking you earlier, have I talked about this in other episodes? And I couldn't remember if I've been talking about this in other episodes or if it was during some of the lectures that we give or talks that we give on the history of knitting.
Yeah.
And that's probably where it's sat.
I don't remember anything about Knitters Guild.
So you've got your drink.
I do.
Are you sitting back and relaxing?
Yes.
We are going back to the 14th century.
14th century?
Yes, in Europe. And we are in France, we're in Italy, and we're in Spain. And then near the end of the 14th century, we're also in Germany. And that's when the first Knitters Guilds started. And they were...
Really?
Yes, they were exclusively for men.
Oh.
And so it was really... the Knitters Guilds were very prestigious, and they were knitting, creating garments for wealthy people, and it was very difficult to get into the Knitters Guild. And so what you had to do was you had to apprentice to get in. And so you were deemed to be a journeyman, and you did a 3-year apprenticeship. And so you were learning your craft over 3 years, and then you thought, okay, I'm ready to join. And they said, nope, you have another 3 years.
What?
So they push you out, and you go off to another land, and you learn knitting and knitting techniques from other parts of the world, and then you bring them back.
Wow.
So after 6 years, you say, okay, I'm ready to join the guild. And they say, no, not yet. You have to write an exam.
Even back...
And when I say write exam, you have to knit an exam. And
right.
so, and it's over.
Not everybody would know how to write, I'm sure.
No. And so, and it was over 13 months.
What? That's crazy.
Okay, so you are, let's pretend you're the
So I'm not even a
you're
real
the
knitter,
journeyman.
I'm not even a real knitter, because all I've done is like, I've knitted a sweater without even being able to follow a pattern. That's, I wouldn't be able to even apply to a guild.
Well, you could apply, but you'd have to apply yourself in order to learn.
Right. Oh, you did.
And there lies the challenge.
Play on words.
So, okay, so you're the journeyman. You've been studying for 3 years. We pushed you off, and you went over to another part of the world to learn how to knit, or learn their techniques. You brought them back. Said, I want to be a master knitter to enter the Knitters Guild. And we said, you need to write, you have to take an exam. And the exam is over 13 months. You have to create a shirt, a beret, socks, and a carpet.
What?
A carpet.
Well, why a beret? Is that only in France?
Yeah, well,
or
that's
a hat.
Yeah, a hat. And so, so that's your challenge. And then you do that, and if you're accepted, you're brought into the guild.
So I'm almost there because I knitted a couple of those garments. I haven't done it.
How long has your knit along been going along? 13 months.
It's been more than 13 months, so I'm in. I just haven't done a carpet.
So fast forward to today.
Okay.
And completely different purpose for the Knitters Guilds. They are fantastic. They're very important to the knitting community. They bring knitters together, and they're dominated by women as well. So completely reversed with respect to gender. And it's, fantastic. So the reason I'm bringing this up is we were invited to speak at the Kitchener-Waterloo Knitters Guild, and we had so much fun. But before that, I went to check out who the other speakers were that they've had. Oh. And so they had Robbie Laughlin, and who's excellent, fantastic designer from Toronto. Yes. And then right after us, they had Stephen West. So, and I didn't tell you that beforehand because the pressure was on to bring our A game to this.
But yeah, we just do what we do. I just remember we had this conversation. I just do me. But I guess
you did you very well as well.
And I guess in hindsight, it's nice to be sandwiched between two cutie patooties, if I may say so myself.
Sure, I knew you'd go there. Anyway, it was back to the guild. They were fantastic, and I had heard rumors about this guild. Okay. And the rumors were that they were a very active guild, lots of fun, and they proved right. They were great. They had great questions, and we loved it. We absolutely loved it.
We had a really good time. We met some nice people, and we had good conversation and some giggles and chats, and it was all very good.
Yeah, and that was our second guild. The first guild we spoke was the Toronto Knitters Guild, and that was a totally different topic. We were talking about the history of knitting in that one. And
Yeah.
this one we were talking about natural dyeing and
Yeah.
our love for natural dyeing and why we natural dye and all that stuff. So
Colors, a bit of history on some of the colors, and a lot of questions too. And the difference too is, you know, the other one was live in person, and this one was live in
Zoomlandia.
face.
Yeah.
In face to face in Zoomlandia.
Lambdia. Zoomlandia.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you know why that
Okay.
is. I've only had 2 sips of coffee. You haven't asked me about my drink. It's actually
I haven't asked you about
it's
your drink
extra
yet.
special latte today. You know why it's extra special?
It's because there's eggnog in it.
It's all my secrets.
Oh, is that what it was?
Thanks. There's eggnog in it because I love
it looks
me
like
some eggnog.
It looks like Christmas is outside, so I just assumed that you're already into
I
the
know.
eggnog.
I'm not feeling it's too soon. Until December we'll go towards Christmas. But the eggnog is on the shelf, and I almost bought some like 2 weeks ago, and I thought, why do they have eggnog out? And then I couldn't resist on the last visit.
Yeah.
And so eggnog, because I really like it. I like it a lot.
The last thing I'll say about Kitchener-Waterloo Knitters Guild is that they were formed in 1986.
Yes.
And they're still going strong. And they had a great turnout when we were there. So we just want to thank you, Kitchener-Waterloo Knitters Guild, for hosting us.
It was great.
And it was, we had such a great time.
It was always fun. It's always great to meet new people.
Okay, now we're going to go back to 1956.
What's going on there?
In 1956...
Well, remember when you were really young then, though? You were just like a toddler.
I'm not even going to grace that with a response.
Oh, so what were you doing in 1956? Do tell us all.
Who was older in 1965?
That's a trick question. You just reversed the number.
Okay, in 1956, I wasn't there, just for the record. Some days I may look like I was there. In
the morning.
So we're located in the forest, 20 minutes north of the town of Belleville.
Yes.
And Belleville, Ontario, had a Weavers Guild. And so they were formed in 1956.
Okay, that's going back.
And you noticed...
But I noticed.
On Facebook or in some media outlet that they were having a market.
Yes.
And they also changed their name after... in 1956, when they were just the Weavers Guild.
Yeah.
The spinners were knocking on the door saying, "Hey, how about us?" And so they opened the door.
We work with yarn. We work with wood.
Yeah, so they opened it up, and it's now the Belleville Weavers and Spinners. So it's the Belleville Weavers and Spinners that were hosting the marketplace.
Is it Weavers, Spinners, and knitters, or is it just
no? The knitters have not made it
what?
yet. Inside.
They haven't taken
this
that.
Is a very
they haven't
exclusive
taken
event.
that 3 year, and then the next 3 year, and then that other 13-month apprenticeship to then qualify for maybe to get into that guild. So that still does apply today, doesn't it? Something like that.
Well, you know what's really interesting, and I got this bug. I've got this itch right now when I was looking at the history of Knitters Guilds. It's well, I doubt in your case it's going to be contagious. But I know people who've become master knitters. And so I was really excited about I don't know. Let me finish.
I did a sweater.
I know. And it took you 13 months. No, I would say, but there are programs where you can become a master knitter. And I thought, wow, that's an interesting thing to do. You can become a master spinner, you can become a master knitter. And so I thought, it'd be nice to take that challenge on at some point. Not right now, but at some point down the road. Yeah. I can tell you're so excited and think, I can't wait to do it.
Really? I'm going to be like...
Okay,
I feel myself falling behind the class and going all through that whole, back in, high school all over again.
Okay, so where were we a couple weeks ago?
A couple of weeks ago, where were we?
We were at the Belleville Weavers and
that's what we're talking about.
Marketplace.
I thought it was somewhere else. Were we somewhere else?
That was your cue to get... We actually bought some things. And so that was your cue to get the stuff.
Yeah, so
show us the goods.
So we finally made it to the market.
Yes.
Held at the church.
Yes. Very strict COVID protocol to get in.
Yes.
Very strict.
And we met some new people.
Yes, we did.
And we chatted with quite a few people.
Glenn, for sure.
And?
Yep. And we bought some stuff.
This stuff?
So, Jamie, show us the goods.
Well, you're supposed to show the goods. Why don't we start with this one, Christopher?
Okay, there was... and let me just set it up for you. Like, this was held in a church, and I was absolutely wowed by the quality of vendors, or they're not vendors. I guess they are vendors.
Well,
but they're
vendors,
all
but
they're all
they're
members. I was in awe of the quality of goods that the members were selling.
Oh gosh, yeah,
It was incredible.
And some of them, I mean, they have multiple talented in all of them.
Yeah.
They weave, they knit, they dye yarn, they dye silk and fabrics, and
Yeah.
I was just, yeah, it was incredible. There were some very talented people there.
Yeah. So I actually picked up some things.
You did.
I did, and this is from Prince Edward County. I needed my glasses.
The colors are amazing.
This is hand spun.
I must say, they're
hand spun.
incredible colors. I love the colors.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and I love the texture and the what do you call that when it's like it's got different, you know, like that. What do you call that?
Multicolors?
No, the different.
The way
sort
it's
of
spun.
Like, yeah, the way it's spun, where it's got different textures to it.
And this is Sandra Emlaw who knit it. This is who spun it. Oh my gosh.
Someone spun it today.
And this is merino, and it's absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice. I absolutely love it.
A sample of merino.
Oh, you brought it. This is from our wool study.
That's right. But we've talked about merino many times, so we won't talk about it again. Everybody knows merino for its absolute beautiful softness.
And so this was fantastic. So I'm so happy that I picked this up. And this is going to be a winter knitting event for me. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. A project. That's what I was looking for. Not an event, a project. It's a winter.
Well, it'll be an event
project.
when you get the final product. It's like
it'll be an event if there's drama
in his mind,
involved.
it's an event.
It'll be an event if I give it to you and you can try knitting with it. Okay. Okay, so that's one of them.
Yes. Okay, so what about this one?
Am I going to talk about it or are you going to talk about it?
Well, you're going to talk about it.
Okay.
You're going to talk about the wool.
Yeah, the wool is fantastic. So this is studio hand-spun yarn. Also another hand-spun. It's absolutely fantastic. And it is by Liz Noakes. And it is Perendale.
Very
Perendale. I was so excited to see Perendale at the market.
Yeah, and I should mention that Lise is the one. A couple of episodes back was my very first visit to Rhinebeck, and she last minute knitted me a Rhinebeck sweater that was beautiful in blue. So she's another very talented. She is a fantastic spinner. She's offered to teach me how to spin, and I've come this close to taking it up on, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn to spin. And I mentioned when we saw her there, we did see her at the market, and she mentioned that they're getting back together soon, or have been in small numbers, and so soon I'll maybe learn to spin. Yes, maybe. I'm thinking.
And Perendale sheep. Do you know what Perendale sheep are?
I do know a little bit about.
Oh my gosh, I'm shocked.
Okay, so Perendale sheep. Well, they were developed in New Zealand?
Yes.
New Zealand. So, where do I start? Now, they're a crossbreed. Now, I brought some other samples just to sort of demonstrate.
Okay.
So, here we have, from our stash, the fleece, the Perendale fleece. So, it was developed, this Perendale was developed in the 1950s and in New Zealand. Now, it's a mix and crossbreed between Cheviot and Romney. Now, I want to mention that Romney, here we have the Romney. Romney was, imported into New Zealand many, many years ago in the 1830s, 1850s, mid-1800s. Romney were established and imported in New Zealand. But over the years, what happened is, in great numbers, the land was very depleted from all of the overgrazing of these sheep over the the acreages in New Zealand. So what happened was they needed to develop. They decided that all that was left in the vegetation was weeds and shrubs or scrub. And so someone had the idea of bringing in the Cheviot. Now the Cheviot are a very hardy breed that been bred in Scotland and England in the rugged terrain and hills of the area for hundreds of years. So they brought in the Cheviot for that reason. And so they developed this breed, and they were sort of very strong-legged to be able to, you know, in the hillsides, the countryside of New Zealand. So they bred them, and it was a Mr. Perrin, who worked at the local university, who developed the Perendale sheep, named after Perendale. And so, what else was I going to say about the Perendale?
I don't know, but while you think about it, while I say something. So the Cheviot sheep, it makes sense then, based on your description of the Cheviot, why Cheviot would be shipped over to Canada and be really our first sheep in Canada.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And well, I'm going to talk about that in a minute as well. Okay. But I want to mention that the Perendale. So what's happened with the Perendale? Now they were popular for some time, but nowadays, because there are not many farmers like farming in the hills, let's say. The popular countryside, hillside farming is not a popular thing. They're just back on the plains. So what's become popular once again has been back to the Romney, because the Romney have always thrived there, and they adapted to the new terrain over these years since the 1950s, and they are now still very well established and the more popular of the breed.
Excellent.
Back in New Zealand.
I can't wait to knit with this. It's really good. And I'm so glad that these are for the new viewers. We participated in a fleece study, and participating mean we paid to participate in this. We basically ordered a subscription of the yarn, and I think there's a fleece study going on again this year, so I'll provide a link to that. But it comes in handy, and I can't wait to have these hanging up in our studio. So I love touching all of these things and being able to see, when you were talking about Cheviot and Romney, you know, and then Perendale. And what I was doing was I was closing my eyes and trying to feel if the combination of this equals this.
Oh, that's interesting. But they're all very soft. But you could definitely feel the texture. Yeah. And I want to mention, you mentioned like in North America, the Perendale did make its way to North America in 1977 in Maryland, but it's still very much a rare breed. Yes. And so
you don't see it very often.
You don't see it very much. And in the U.S., they do have an association that are trying to keep the breed. Yeah. But it's sort of sparsely across the country in California and Washington and the Mid-Atlantic and in New England. Sure. So sparse, smaller flocks of the Perendale still exist there, and they're still trying to keep that breed going, and they're known for their wool, and that's what they're trying to do.
Yep, perfect. Okay, so what else do we have?
Well, we have this that you picked up.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I was really excited about this because this is also from Prince Edward County, and it is also by Sandra, and it is Texel and ARCOTT. And you never find ARCOTT, or it's very difficult to find ARCOTT in a yarn. And so I was really excited about that. I was excited about two things. One is the color is fantastic.
Oh, it's a beautiful glowing yellow.
It is beautiful. And so I'm going to knit. This was screaming across the room to me. It was saying, knit me I'm a pair of socks. And so I am knitting socks with these. I cannot wait to knit socks with this yarn. I can't wait. So
who's going to see your socks so that bright when you get lost somewhere in the woods, and then or you just look for the glow of the yellow?
I'm going to wear it when I go hiking into the woods, and then if I get lost, I'll just take my boots off, and it'll be a beacon. Yeah.
Yes.
So I love it. I absolutely love this yarn, and I love the feel of it too. It's fantastic. So Jamie, it's Texel and ARCOTT.
Texel?
Do you have any knowledge about either of them?
I might know a little bit about those sheep. Okay, I'll start with the Texel.
Sure. So
the Texel is a breed of sheep that originates in the Dutch Isle of Texel, which is in the Wadden, part of the Wadden Islands, over there.
And I will say that
in the Netherlands.
I will also say that before you get going,
Okay.
that we have talked about Texel in the past.
We have.
We did an exchange. I shipped over Canadian yarn, and then I received Texel yarn, and I dyed it. And so we have participated in exchange before, but we've never had Texel and ARCOTT. This is a combination of Canadian and wool from Holland. So it's fantastic.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, I don't remember because I was mixed up with the Texel with, what's that other one I said?
ARCOTT?
Like tinsel?
Oh, it's Tencel.
Like
a little bit
tinsel.
different.
Tencel or tinsel. I'm like,
One grows on sheep.
Texel and tinsel or tencel. I was getting them mixed up. But this one is originates, like I mentioned, in the Netherlands, and it was also early on in the 1800s. It was crossbred, but they had a few imports of Lincoln long wool and Leicester long wool, which we know that a lot of breeds were interbred with the Lincoln long wool to create longer staples, a better wool, and it's always about improving the stock.
Yeah.
So let me just grab some of the samples we have here. So here we have the Texel.
Okay.
Super soft. And we have a blue-faced Leicester, which there are different Leicesters. And of course, as I mentioned, the Lincoln long wool.
Okay.
So how these sheep was very, very popular. And as I mentioned, in the 1800s, they were bred mainly for their lamb because they had an extremely high quality tasting lamb, and it was a very, very popular meat in Europe at the time. So they had a huge market for it. So they bred them to be very muscular and lean, and it was all about the quality of the meat.
Yeah.
And so they were also bred in France and Britain, but not to the same quality as the Dutch. The Dutch is like the prized Texel. So it wasn't until the 1970s that Britain and France were allowed to import them, and then they wanted to improve their stock, as everyone wants to do, so they started improving their stock. And it wasn't until the 80s and 90s that Australia and New Zealand as well brought them in, and then developed and started crossbreeding and developing their own.
Yeah.
And at the same time, around that time, in the United States. So in the 90s, they were again developed there and imported, and they were then sold to just a few select breeders to then produce the Texel. And it's gone from there to become one of a very, very popular breed of sheep, not only for their meat quality, but also for their wool. So the Texel today is mainly white. They're a white sheep they have a black nose, black hoofs. It's about a 32 micron medium sort of soft. Yeah. So it's excellent for sock.
Perfect
and
for
some
socks.
some outerwear. Now what's interesting about the Texel is we mentioned that they originated in the Netherlands, but in Holland, a blue lamb was born just out of this white breed. So they automatically, what they did, they thought, we're going to develop this, and they interbred and developed this blue Texel.
Oh, that's interesting.
And now it's one of a very popular breed. It's established and still very somewhat rare, still very well established, but they are really popular now. The fleece is becoming very popular because of its unusual blue hue on its back. Yeah. There's blue hues with black, and they have these very unusual patterns. So it's almost like a prized fleece. They've yet to make their way to North America.
Oh, cool.
Blue Texel.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely want to see one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned that this was Texel. I keep saying Texel.
Texel.
Tinsel Texel.
Yeah.
I can't even say it right. I know what it is.
You're in Christmas mode right now, and you're thinking about the tinsel.
With my eggnog and tinsel. Okay, the Texel. Oh my god.
Well, that's eggnog. Was there any rum in there, or
no? It's
really?
I've only
just
been
caffeine.
sipping it slowly, and I don't know. Maybe I mistakenly took the decaffeinated. Either way, that might be an okay thing. But so this is a blend of Texel and ARCOTT. Now, ARCOTT is distinctively Canadian because it's one of the very few breeds developed and native to Canada.
Yes.
So the ARCOTT was developed outside of our capital city of Ottawa, and
which is like
over there,
2 hours away.
Yeah, that way.
Yeah, 2 hours
Not very
away.
far. We've
Yeah.
been there many times.
Yeah.
On the Parliament buildings. And so...
Where Justin lives.
Yes. Justin. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. We're not going there. We're talking wool. So,
right.
ARCOTT. Do you know what ARCOTT stands for?
No.
Justin's on my mind.
Yeah,
Arnold?
you need to recalibrate. What does it stand for, Jamie?
Animal Research Center
I knew it was an
of
acronym.
Ottawa. ARCOTT.
And what's the T? The part of Ottawa?
Ottawa.
Okay, okay.
ARCOTT.
Okay.
A, animal. Do I have to spell it out?
No.
A, animal.
Well, Ottawa starts with O, but I get it.
Research.
Okay.
R.
Yeah. I got
C,
it.
Center.
Makes sense.
OTT, Ottawa.
Yeah.
ARCOTT. So, now that breed was developed, and just because they wanted to make this breed of sheep that would just be really adaptable to all of the Canadian climates and environment. Its main bloodlines are Ile-de-France sheep and Suffolk. That's the main bloodline. But they also have a mix. Yeah, that's like, they're in the 37, 34%, and then about a 17% of, what's the other breed? There's a mix of other breeds, including Corriedale, Finn. Oh my gosh, there's about 5 different.
Those sound like they're all in our sheep breed study.
They're all in our sheep breed study, but all I have here is the Corriedale.
Well, we have others too.
We have others. But yeah, it's pretty much just a complete, it's a mix, but it is now a very identifiable and very specific breed of sheep. And it has great wool. It's a dual purpose sheep, yarn and
That's
meat.
what I was going to ask. Like, what is the purpose of the sheep? What is the purpose of mixing all of them up? But is it for its Canadian environment? Like, yeah. And you said it's multi-purpose as well.
Multi-purpose,
Yeah.
and its adaptability to all the environments and the climates across the country.
One thing you didn't mention about Texel sheep. Which,
What is that?
These socks are going to be for you. Because the Texel sheep...
Is that the secret?
The Texel sheep are lethargic. And they're relaxed. They're known for... One of their qualities is that they're a more relaxed sheep. So I thought if I knit these socks for you and you wear them, they'll calm you down.
What? You're making that up.
I'm not making it up. So we'll see if it works.
Oh my
You
God,
can wear
that's
them for
funny.
one of our episodes and see if it works or not.
Well, I want to mention, the last thing I'm going to mention about, because we're talking about this native breed to Canada, but I want to say, in general, we've talked about this before, because in general, this sort of encompasses the whole idea of wool in Canada. Like, the first French settlers would have brought their sheep in 1650s to Canada, and it's thought to be the Cheviot, which makes sense because I already mentioned the Cheviot earlier.
Yes.
And they're being, to this rugged terrain in Scotland. Scotland's quite a, you imagine Scotland very up there, far north with, their winter climates and their different climates. So Cheviot. So they're still very popular in Canada, but as well as some of the meat sheep, which are like the Suffolk, the Dorset, and the Hampshire.
Yeah.
And also the wool sheep that we have in Canada that are quite popular, which is like, as I mentioned, the Corriedale and Rambouillet, and along with several other breeds. Including the Targhee and Columbia. Columbia and Targhee are very popular wool sheep in Canada.
Yeah, when we were at our first festival this year at Woolstock, we were talking to one of the farms, and they are going to start breeding Rambouillet. So it's getting becoming more popular.
You mean, did we do an interview with it?
Yes.
We absolutely did. And it was very exciting because I remember the first thing they said when they got the Rambouillet, and that's exciting because, I was
salivating, I think.
Well, it was like, they just thought, hey, we're going to do Rambouillet. But then when they went to pick up the sheep, they were like, what? Do you remember that? That's what stands out to me. It was like, they're like, these are big sheep. Do you remember that? They're like, oh my goodness, as they're coming out of the,
they're not Shetlands, that's for sure.
Well, exactly. So, and so we're very excited because we're going to be getting some of that fleece sometime soon, aren't we?
Oh, we're talking about,
We're still talking about Rambouillet.
I know, but I was talking about the farm that was vending beside Gaynor Homestead. And you were, because Gaynor Homestead already has Rambouillet sheep. I was talking about ones that are excited to be getting Rambouillet sheep.
Who's that?
That's
what did I not remember?
Oh my God,
I thought we were
talking about.
Well, they got them. They were the first sheep that they. I thought we were talking about that because they were so excited about getting their herd of Rambouillet.
Yes. Yeah, I was talking about the farm that disclosed to us that they were getting Rambley.
Okay, well, spit it out. I don't remember. Remind me.
Formerly Link Farms.
Oh, okay, I remember Link Farm because they changed the name.
Yes, yeah. So anyway, that's...
Oh, I only remember because they had all their fleece here. And then I, you know what? This is why I remember now. Because I was over here and I was feeling all the fleece and you were having a little chat along there. And I was over here and I was just feeling fleece, so I don't remember this conversation.
Yeah. Yes, that's probably what happened.
So
okay, let's be honest. You were at the lavender booth eating chocolate. That's probably more like it.
I was there too.
Okay.
We don't stick together the whole time. I got my interests. He has his.
Yeah. Okay, so we have one more.
One more what?
Okay, now here's...
What I miss?
I will share with you, the last thing you want to hear when you go into a marketplace like this is, Jamie, we're only buying things we need. We're not buying things that we don't need. So let's just focus on what we need. Is there anything that we need? And we'll get that. But we're not spending money on stuff that we don't need.
Okay, but we had that. We didn't we mention this in one of the other episodes because we ate lavender.
No. I'm talking about at the. We had this discussion before we went into the marketplace, and so what do I end up with?
Oh gosh. The all important little bear. Oh.
Okay, so a couple things.
The dog's coming. He's the little baby too. Oh, it's a little baby. That's his cue.
The dog answers.
Oh my god, he answers to. Okay, so he doesn't show up for his birthday greeting card that we read to everybody, but he answers to baby. He's the little dog. You say, oh, the little dog. He answers the little dog. Well, he answers to you for handsome. It's little dog, and it's like, and then you go baby, and he comes, and we're like, little baby. And who shows up? Zan. I don't even think he answers to Zan anymore. Oh, thank you for that. And that's not your choice. Oh, baby, look at the little baby. You want to eat a little bear?
Okay, so let's get back to.
Okay, let's talk about this because this is quite priceless. Yeah, well, this one too.
Okay, so we met a woman named Glenn.
Yes.
And Glenn is is so talented. She's a great salesperson as well. She had you in one of her outfits. And
I forgot about that.
You put on this gorgeous knitted poncho.
She was trying to sell that to me.
Beautiful, yes. And I was, it's so great that her booth was right in the middle of the marketplace. So you were putting this thing on right in the middle of the marketplace. And
then she had to have me try on something to go along with it.
But the hat, I think you were wearing the hat with it as well. But she's so talented. Oh my gosh.
I know. This is what I was talking about when we were talking about being there.
Yeah. And so we were looking around and I thought to myself, I saw the bears and the bears... the bears are beautiful. And they're made out of wool. And so she knit this really cool vest for it as well.
So, just to recap. So she made the entire bear. I know, I was so distracted. Between the bear and that bear, the poodle bear, totally distracted. But yeah, you mentioned, like, I thought, what's special? Because nobody could believe, they just think that this is knitted. But she made this whole bear out of wool. Didn't she? And it's got moving parts.
Yes.
That's incredible talent. And then she knitted this wonderful little...
Yeah.
I was hoping this would come in my size, not the one she had me try on.
Okay, so we have not named the bear.
Oh.
I have not named the bear.
Does it need a name?
This bear is coming with us to all of our vending events.
It is?
Yes. I love it. And that's why I bought it. I just want to take it with us everywhere, and it will accompany us to all of the vending events.
So he's going to be like our mascot then.
And he is not named. I wouldn't, and I'm calling him he. Oh. He could be she.
No, he'll just be neutral.
Or they.
I think neutral.
No, okay. So
he is new. He, him, her,
pronouns.
they.
We have not decided on pronouns.
We're not doing the pronoun thing, but I'm going to say. I'm saying like non-gender.
Sure.
Where any name will be interesting. Any name will do.
Okay, so The challenge is to submit a name. We're looking for names. We're looking for suggestions from you to let us know what we think you should call this bear. The bear, and what we're going to do is have a giveaway. So the name that we
tell me anything about this.
I know. The name that we choose, that recipient, and if multiple people have picked the same name, you'll be getting yarn that is in our dye pot today. And so
you won't be getting the yarn today.
You won't be getting the well because they haven't guessed yet.
Yeah, but it sounded like you're saying you're going to
no, we're
get the yarn
knitting
in dye pot.
the yarn that's in our dye pot today. You will be winning that.
Okay.
And so it'll be a surprise to you, and we'll give a bag away.
Well, that sounds like fun.
So the giveaway again is submit names for this bear, this non-gendered bear,
the Cabinboyknit mascot bear,
and we will select the name that we like best. Okay. And we will announce the winner in our next episode. And the winner or winners will receive yarn that we are dyeing today. Okay. And a bag as well. So that's the giveaway.
Okay. And I guess, you know what we're going to do? Because I think there's going to be, I'm sure there are going to be several good names that might be really difficult to decide. So we may have to like maybe put 2 or 3 of the best in and just pick one if we can't come to a conclusion.
Yep.
Because I'm sure there's some very creatively minded people that will come up with something very intelligent, witty, fun, silly, what have you.
Yes. Yep. Excellent.
Okay.
Great. What's next?
Okay, so now what are we going to talk about?
I think now it's time for me to finally talk about the secret that I've been keeping since July.
Okay. Well, part of that secret though, because we went on a little road trip to Southern Ontario.
To Guelph.
A destination.
Yes.
Including the secret, but also
Fergus.
And we came across
a yarn shop, a fantastic yarn shop. And I want to say a special thank you to Jay, a friend of ours who lives in Guelph. I told him we were in Guelph, but I couldn't tell him why we were in Guelph.
Oh, that's right.
And so he said, well, if you're in Guelph, you have to check out Fergus, which is just like 10
like
kilometers away. And he said, you need to check it. It's a cute village, and there's a fantastic yarn shop there. And it's owned and run by Miranda. And so we said, absolutely, we're into that. So we hopped in the car and went to visit it, and we were able to interview Miranda at String Theory Yarn Shop.
And it was a pleasure. And the town of Fergus was wonderful.
It is beautiful.
And she showed us her shop, and it was one of those, you know, very rewarding, eye-pleasing little treats that we encountered.
Yeah. So let's take a look. We are in beautiful Fergus, Ontario at String Theory Yarn Shop. And we're going to go in and take a look at all the yarn they have. So come on, let's go. Good morning.
How are you today?
Oh, we're great, thanks. How about yourself?
Great, great.
I'm Christopher, and this is Jamie.
Hi, nice to meet you guys. I'm Miranda.
Miranda, nice to meet you. This is a gorgeous shop. It's really nice.
Thank you.
How long have you been here?
I only opened in October 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
So I haven't been here long, and I've been locked down most of the time.
So what made you open up a yarn shop in the middle of COVID?
Well, it was something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I think the timing was just right as far as the location I wanted.
Yeah, sure.
So this store became available for lease. I think I saw it in January of 2020, and it just continued to be available, and I don't know, everything just kind of fell into place. It was sometimes the time is the time. Right?
Yep, absolutely.
And maybe timing for COVID could have been a little bit better, but sometimes you have to jump on the opportunities when they're presenting themselves and just go for it.
Absolutely. This is a great space.
Thank you.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Do you mind if can you take us
through it? Come on through.
Thanks. Can't wait to see your yarn.
So one thing that was really great is these countertops here. Yeah. These were all left by the previous tenant, so I was able to incorporate them into my design, and I built all of my, I guess, the rest of my decorating around some pieces that were already in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi there. Hi.
It's beautiful, really nice.
Thank you.
So as an Outlander, it's got to be popular here, is it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, everything's Scottish and
Yes.
stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Fergus was founded by Scots, was it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Long
Okay.
Scottish history. In fact, the Fergus Highland Games are, I think, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, outside of Scotland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
So you have to come back for 2022 when they'll be in person again.
Oh,
Instead
definitely.
of virtual, yeah.
Absolutely. So how do you have it laid out in terms of, is it weight or
Yes, basically weight. Hi, everybody. So over here I've got fingering into sport and DK.
mm-hmm.
And then over here I'm starting with sock yarn, some hand dyes. There's some random stuff like macrame cord over here. So sock yarn all down here, and then fingering weights, and then some more DK.
When we talk to some of the yarn shop owners, they will say, oh, this is definitely a fingering weight shop or a worsted shop, or
Yeah.
is there what is the biggest seller here?
DK and worsted
Oh yeah.
is what I sell the most of.
Yep.
But the fingering and sockwood is still pretty high.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
I kind of look at them separately.
Yeah.
But if I group them together, it's a lot. So.
Yeah. Great. And what does your average customer look like? Like,
Oh.
do you have an average one, or like, what is the age range? Is it all different ages?
Yeah.
Or? It is.
Yeah, it's all different ages.
Fantastic.
You know, I've got little kids who come in.
Oh, that's great.
And you know, you can see how they're going to be fabulous knitters or crocheters in the future because they're just obsessed with the yarn.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I don't think there's really an average.
Yep. And what
Yeah.
about guys? Are there any guys that come
Oh,
in to
yeah.
buy yarn?
Yeah, lots of guys. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Great. And what about, this is definitely a tourist area.
Yes.
And so do you get a lot of tourists in?
I think not as many as I would in a normal year.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have to see once post-COVID environment what
Yeah.
it looks like from a tourist perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, great.
But I do get a lot of tourists. I think I had on Saturday quite a few people who had come in. I had a couple come in a few weeks ago who were from the Windsor, Essex area,
Oh, yeah.
and they were doing road trips, and I was on their stop.
Oh,
and I was
good.
like, oh, that's amazing. So
That's excellent.
that's fun, yeah.
So is there any yarn in particular you want to show us?
Let's see. Well, I want to give a shout out to some of my local hand dyers.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I'd love to hear
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of our local yarns, Fergus Yarn Co. I have a big selection of her stuff, and Andrea does an amazing job, and I'd say she's probably one of my newest, closest friends since I've opened the store. And
Fantastic.
yeah, her stuff's bright and fun, and she's always trying new things and different things. So a lot of this is just her sock yarn. And she was also my co-collaborator for the Rainbow Love
Oh,
shawl.
wow. Beautiful.
Yeah, and then we did also Outside the Box.
Excellent.
So these two were fundraisers for Guelph Pride, and we ended up raising, I think, $1,600 for Guelph Pride this year with this, and it was one of those things we just came up with out of the blue and was not expecting it to take off like it did, but we're really excited about how well it did and how well it was received. So yeah, here is, and these are both Andrea's designs. And I made a crochet version of the rainbow scarf, and I just hadn't got around to this one, which would be basically the same thing, though it's just fewer stripes.
It's beautiful. It's really nice. How's it look?
Gorgeous.
It's really nice. Great job.
Take some of this.
Okay.
All right.
So this is another one of Andrea's creations at Fergus Yarn Co. This is a thrummed mittens kit, and this is all Ontario yarn.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So she's dyed it all and knotted it together in a fancy little thing to make these thrum mitts. So
That's great. And so we
Yeah.
have yarn, and then we've got the fleece that she has
Yep.
there as well. That's
Yep.
terrific. Yeah, and those are very Canadian. This is the
Oh yeah.
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 And they're warm. They're super warm.
Yeah, they're crazy warm. So yeah, these are the -20 kind of mittens.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're too hot any other time. So.
Oh, beautiful.
This, lady slipper alpacas, and this is a local alpaca farm in Bellwood, and these are Wendy's alpacas, and all these little guys on here. This is the fleece. This is their fleece.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. So she's put the fleece of each alpaca on the little labels.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It really connects you, doesn't it, to where the yarn's coming from?
It does. And these were also spun at Wellington Fibers.
Oh, yes.
In the Elora area.
Yeah.
So
it's very local.
It's super local. This is as local as you can get, like produced in Bellwood, processed in Elora, and then sold in Fergus. Like that's
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. And what are these?
These are kits that were inspired from her garden. So these are just dyed samples.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Beautiful. And I love this spot over here. It's just so welcoming. It just, you want to bring your knitting and just sit and sit in it. So that's really nice. And you'll be able to see that soon.
Yes, yes. I'm looking forward to the day when, at any given time, there's just going to be people sitting around knitting, and I'll join them, or I'll do my thing behind the desk, or whatever, and it'll be fun.
Is there a big knitting community in Fergus?
Yes, yeah. Fergus community, Fergus, Elora, Guelph. Great knitting community, and then the community in general. I don't think I would have made it through COVID if it wasn't for these amazing people.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they kept me going. Yeah.
Oh, that's
sometimes
wonderful.
it was moral support, sometimes they bought things, but both were equally valuable because it was a rough go sometimes. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I'm
wonderful.
feeling all emotional talking about them. They're great people.
Yeah,
so.
I usually tear up in every episode, so don't worry about it.
Another local dyer, Gravity Fiber. This is another Andrea, and she's from Harriston. And when I was first reaching out to a bunch of different suppliers and farms and things like that, and looking for different people to stock the store, different products to stock the store, she was the first indie dyer who reached out to me.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, she's been great. She does her store, her online presence is really expanding. She has a great web presence. And this is what I'm holding here is her mittens kit. It's the Made in Canada mittens kit. So this one is called Upper River. That's the colorway. And where was this one? This one is Dorset sheep from Lismore Sheep Farm in River John, Nova Scotia.
Okay, great.
And then spun at McCausland's.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's where these ones came from. But I think we have some Ontario stuff as well of hers that she's dyed.
Terrific, that's nice.
And then this one here, single-minded sock. It's a fingering weight, 100% merino. And so she's got some really fun colorways here.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
The orange is nice too.
Yeah, it's really nice fall color.
Yes.
There we go. I've been doing a curated mystery yarn box where I've been featuring a different mystery designer or dyer, indie dyer every month.
Yes.
And sending that out, and that's been a lot of fun. And I've
that's a great idea.
It's been fun, and it was kind of like a 6-month pilot project just to see how it would go. And I've got I think I started off with 10 subscriptions, and that's been the max it's been, which is fine. Like it's manageable that way. And so far we've had The Loving Path. I don't know if you're familiar with any of them, but The Loving Path was the first month, and then we had Gravity Fiber was the second month. Yep. And it was a different, I don't have what it is because it was different. But, and that was their DK. And then last month, or this month I guess you'd say for July, we had Stitch Noir, and they had a really amazing gradient kit.
Oh, nice.
It was really nice. And I can't tell you who is this month or August.
You have to kill us.
Because it's a mystery. And
okay. Oh, perfect. No, that's great.
Yeah, but it's been great because I like to help out the local indie dyers as well. Yeah. They do great work, and with with COVID, no one's been able to go to the fiber festivals and things like that. And so it's, you know, just a little boost for everybody. And I get to know some really great new people and stuff through the
well, that sounds like fun. That's
contacting
great.
indie dyers. Yeah.
Terrific.
Another company I wanted to shout out, these guys are Well Interrupted. And like this one is BFL with NEPs, and this one is merino cashmere. And they also have some DK I've got over there, and a sparkle and a merino cashmere. Now these guys, Emma and Annie, these are kind of the reason I'm in business right now, because they inspired me so much. And they have a subscription yarn box, and that's pretty much all they do is the yarn festival and the subscription yarn box. And I had a subscription, I got it as a gift. And when I went to meet them, they were just so inspiring, and they're both crocheters like me. Because I always figured, well, you know, I couldn't have a yarn shop because I don't knit. And I guess I was just inspired by them to say, you know what, you know, crochet is just as relevant, and you can still do things if you don't knit. And you know what, I'm learning to knit, so there you go. But yeah, so
that's terrific.
Annie and Emma, you guys rock.
And are they local or around here? Or
They're from Muskokas.
Oh, Muskokas.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, Huntsville area.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not too far away.
Bracebridge, Huntsville.
Yep. Oh,
So,
that's great. Yeah.
This was knit by a new Fergus friend. Here's a community thing for you. Wendy Appleby, she knit this shawl, and it's gorgeous, but it's too hot out. So she says, do you want to display it in your shop for a couple of months until it gets cooler and I can wear it? I was like, yes, I do. This is amazing. Thank you. And it's knit with Sweet Georgia yarn that I have in stock here. So that's why she asked if I wanted to display it, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, this is the kind of amazing community we have here, where they'll knit things and let me borrow it for a little bit just to put it on display. So
very nice.
Yeah. Oh, and this shawl pin here, this was made by Nature's Wonders. He's in Hanover. He hand makes all these kind of wood shawl pins and things like that.
That is gorgeous.
Isn't it pretty?
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. I just want to thank you so much, Miranda, for showing us your shop. It is absolutely beautiful, and the yarn is gorgeous.
Oh, thanks, Christopher. I'm really glad to meet you and Jamie, and you know, it's been a lot of fun showing you around. And yeah, I'm hoping once things start progressing a little and I can have a few more dyers in, I hope to stock Cabinboyknits, because I love the colors.
Oh, great.
Yeah, of your stuff. It's amazing what you guys can do with natural dyes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I could see Cabinboyknits being happy in this yarn shop. So, so thank you for that. I really enjoyed that trip to Fergus. I'm so glad we did it, and I'm glad that it was recommended to us.
And what did you love best about the shop?
I liked well, you said loved. I loved the fact that she's pushing or promoting the local dyers in the area, and she cares about that. I love that. I love the window, the big window in the front, which lets in lots of light. And she's just wonderful. She's just a wonderful person. And I love the seating area as well.
I was going to mention, because she has, you know, well, pre-COVID, she's got a wonderful large space right at the front with the sofas and the chairs. And there was that was it the little fireplace that she, electric or whatever, right in the center there as well. Yeah. It's just so cozy, so bright, like you mentioned, the window, you know, to greet everybody who comes in. And I could just imagine like the community knitters sitting around and chit-chatting and having a wonderful time. Hopefully that happens again. Yes. But nice and a beautiful variety of yarns, and the size of the place was amazing. And she is right in the center of Fergus, and that is a tourist town. So when COVID is gone, that place is going to be packed. It's going to be packed. It'll be very good. And the town, like you mentioned, we went to the bakery, we went to a couple of the very cool shops on that main street. She's right on the main street. It's a destination that you should, if you're in the area, just pop on by Fergus if you're anywhere near Fergus or Paris, Ontario. Yep. Okay, now is the big reveal. The reveal. The reveal. I'm so excited. Do I know the secret? You were there for the secret. Oh, yes, I was. Okay, so I think it was July. I keep saying July. I'm pretty sure it was July. We received an email, and I read the email, and it said that
hello, I guess it was a casting director. What would it be? You're more familiar with this world than I am. So somebody that was working on the set,
One of the production people
reached out to us and said, we were referred to you by Lickety Split Farm. Thank you, Mel. And
Lickety Split, just like
yes, and they were basically, because she's in the biz as well.
Okay.
And so
yes,
and so they connected to us, and they basically said, we're filming this thing. Didn't know if you'd be interested or not, but it's basically, they said it's with the ASAPscience guys. And so they said,
but they didn't tell us what it was exactly.
They wouldn't tell us exactly what it was
because it was secret.
And so I went on, and so as I was talking to them on the phone, I was Googling ASAPscience guys, and then we watched a few of the clips as well, and they were a lot of fun. They actually went to school in Guelph. They're a couple, and they're wonderful guys, Mitch and Greg, and they were science majors.
Okay.
And I don't know if they met in university or not.
Why did I have engineer in my mind?
I don't know. Maybe you're right. I'm not sure, but I thought that they had science backgrounds, and so they were super, super fun. And when you get excited and worked up about something, your energy level's at about 10, I'd say. And Greg is at
20.
10 is his starting.
At 100.
He's super hyper and super fun and super exciting.
Oh, his energy is great.
Laughed
fantastic
so much.
energy.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, so I got this email, and then we had a conversation around it, and we were at the ideation stage. So they hadn't figured out what they were going.
Ideation.
Yeah, they hadn't figured out yet what exactly it was going to look like, but they knew that they wanted to have the science guys. And the science guys, for example, or Mitch and Greg, have almost 10 million subscribers on YouTube.
Wow.
Almost 10 million, 9.8.
That was
it's huge.
It was
huge. And
incredible, yeah.
And I love their episodes because they're short, compact, and full of science, but in a fun way.
Oh,
it's great.
And very informative. And a lot of it is to do with everyday living.
Yes.
Things we don't know or should know.
Yeah, and this was basically a sister of that show, of that whole episode. So it was still the ASAPscience guys, but they were doing Living Off the Grid, and they were having a whole series around that. So it was a YouTube original series.
So it was a new production, so it was sort of all hush-hush top secret.
Yes, we didn't know what it was called or anything.
Yeah, they wouldn't, they were keeping that. They just knew that they would like to have Cabinboyknits come and dye some...
Yeah, so they said...
fleece for them.
Yeah, so they basically said, here's our concept. And so Greg is going to be in, and he's going to be shearing sheep. They're going to take the sheep, and they're going to
So it was to teach them how to dye. It was basically so they could dye the fleece they sheared.
Yeah. And then they were going to have it spun. And then we come in, and we taught them how to dye, taught Greg how to dye the yarn. And then it was to knit a garment. And it was a bathing suit. And they wanted the bathing suit to turn around just like that. And
yes.
they're like, what? And so I said, well, what about a jock? And so Greg was pretty adamant about a bathing suit. So I said, okay, we'll do that. And first of all, on the set, it was so much fun. It was so much fun to have.
Gosh, it was
to have the crew around and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun.
It was somewhat surreal, but mostly it was fun because they made it so, he made it so easy for us because he just, went on and sort of almost walked us through it and took the lead on everything and made a very easy and wonderful experience. And we had a lot of laughs. And, you'll have to see it. We won't give away everything. You'll have to see it.
But everybody on set was super nice.
Absolutely, everybody
and was. And the director was super nice.
He's super nice, super funny too.
Yeah.
He was getting a kick out of all of it, as we all were, I think. We were.
Yeah, because especially in one scene where we had to take measurements, right? Because we were leaving the set, we were going back, and I was going to be knitting this garment and then bringing it and then mailing it to them. And so we had to take measurements. And so you took the measurements.
We had a little bit of fun with that.
You took the measurements and I recorded. And you have to, for a bathing suit, you have to measure everywhere in every position.
And as recorded, he doesn't mean record this way. He was taking note to get the measurements. It had to be just very precise because if you imagine, you don't want a saggy swimsuit. It's got to fit.
Yes, and especially when it's made out of wool. So the director said, well, can you get accurate measurements with your pants on? And so
You're getting it all the way now.
He had Greg disrobe, and we had to take our measurements, and he was in his skivvies.
Yes.
And so that was quite amusing.
Oh my goodness, all around.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Everybody got a kick out of it. It was great. But you'll be able to Google that and have a look for yourself. Have a little look see.
Yes, because it was released in October, and so I will put a link to that episode. And we're in that one episode that talks about beer, making beer, and also it's getting free Wi-Fi. And
yes,
we're stealing Wi-Fi off of somebody else's.
So it's got beer, Wi-Fi. So
and then the whole thing about making basically it was a challenge against fast fashion. That's what it was.
So instead of a polyester, man-made fabric swimsuit, to back to natural, back to basics, back to off the grid.
And the bathing suit was dyed in lilac leaves, and also in cochineal. So I combined the two.
Was it lilac leaves and marigold, or there was
no? There was no marigold. It was lilac. It was lilac on one, and then cochineal for the ribbing on the top.
Good.
But it was so much fun. So then when we left the set, I got the needles out. I think you were driving home, and I was knitting away as quickly as possible. I did not have a pattern, so it was trying to get the gauge and figure it out in my head. And
it turned out amazing.
I was really happy with it. I was really happy.
Yeah,
so
you need to.
I'm going to do another one.
You need to.
I'm definitely going to do another one and write it down because it's in my head right now.
You need that pattern,
which is not a safe place, by the way.
Yes, you need that pattern because it was quite a successful project. When you look at some of the knitting projects that you finish and you're proud of, that was probably close to the top of the list of and it fit them perfectly, as you'll see. Or did they censor that?
No. Oh my gosh! So they advertised when it went up. The show advertised when it went up, and so I took that and I put it on Instagram. But I took a photo. I recaptured a photo of Greg in the bathing suit, and Instagram flagged it, and they suspended me. And
a man in a swimsuit. Did you believe it? I don't know if a woman in a bikini would have been okay, but a man was in a swimsuit.
So
strange.
Instagram allows you to appeal, so I appealed and they released it. And I was saying to Jamie, what probably happens is the robot looks at it and it's automated and it thinks it grabs something that they think is censored and
it's interesting,
should be censored, but it wasn't though.
It's just interesting because if you're just a guy on the beach in a pair of shorts,
but the best thing was I reached out to Greg and I said, Greg, I've got some news for you. I said, your picture of you in your bathing suit was too much for Instagram to take, and it was censored. So you can consider that you're very well blessed.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
But anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was super fun.
And the connection again was Mel, because she thought, okay, we need a natural dyer, and she thought of you automatically.
Yes.
Yeah, which was wonderful.
Yeah.
How could somebody just say, hey, and then I think she then said, hey, have a look at these guys on our YouTube, to say, hey, have a look, and then see if everybody would be in agreement. Like, hey, I think these guys would be the perfect guys to just have a good time and be easygoing and go along with it all and be able to create something.
Yes.
So that's an amazing, incredible, feeling for them to just reach out to you and Cabinboyknits to say, hey, let's do this.
And we did it.
What?
And we had a lot of fun. So that was great. Okay, so that was our adventure into YouTube. You've had a lot of experience in front of the TV sets before, but that was this was like real live, full on production. It was fantastic. The setting was amazing. Like we said, the crew and the cast, the crew, everybody was very kind and wonderful, and we were well fed and well taken care of, and it was a really good day. And we stopped at the yarn shop as part of that. We stayed an extra day to do the town of Fergus and meet at the yarn shop. Yep. So that's what we've been up to over the last little while, and we're so happy that we were able to share it with you. Again, I want to remember that do not forget to submit a name for this person, this little stuffed bear, and and we will pick a name or names, and we will announce a winner
next episode.
So
now what do we have coming up?
We have a lot coming up. My gosh, we have.
Do tell. Let me get my calendar out so I can.
Okay, we have a lot coming up. We have been working diligently of dyeing yarn because some of our yarn is going into some shops in
That's big
the
news.
U.S. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And so
Is it too early to? It's kind of a little early.
yeah.
We'll keep that for the next chat.
Yeah, but that's what
gonna
we're
be
up
coming
to. Yes. Yeah.
Wool and more wool dyeing.
Yeah.
That's what we've been up to.
That's what we've been
Incredible
up to.
new colorways.
Yes.
Exciting. It's exciting. It's going to be an exciting time.
And we're working on a couple of collaborations that are in the vault right now too, and we're trying to just, once I get the details on that, I will release them. We're definitely going to be showcasing one of the collaborations in our next episode.
Yes.
Because it's my work in progress right now.
And one thing we forgot to mention, and sitting right there, Christopher, we
The dog?
forgot to mention, no, right there.
Oh, yes.
That's
Okay,
kind
let me
of
go
important.
get that.
Yeah.
Let me go get that.
And
Because that was the top,
And-
hold on, that was the point of the, one of the main points of the story.
I know. So we're going to talk about that. So what it is, and to connect it to just yesterday, we ran into this woman who brought it top of mind because we were at a bookstore. And used book sale, and it's a fundraiser for this church community center they're trying to, restore. And so, of course, we thought, hey, Christopher might come across some great dye knitting books.
And I did.
And he did. So he had two in hand. And
One of them is Early American Weaving and Dyeing.
which I glanced through, and it's fascinating because these recipes go way back and we can still apply them today, all natural. Well, part of it's natural, part of it depending what they use, but we could substitute some of the ingredients to make it that much more natural. But the bases are plant-based,
Yeah.
bark, trees, that sort of thing, flowers.
And the other one is Natural Dyes and Home Dyeing.
So this lady that we met, she was quite interesting. She was
Not the
fascinating.
author, but the owner of the book.
The owner of this book, because she said, hey, she goes, I donated that book to the bookstore, and there she was shopping in the Canadiana history section where I was looking, and we struck up a conversation, and then she mentioned having part of their Knitters Guild or her community.
Sheep to Shawl.
Sheep to Shawl.
Yeah.
And she also has another book that she has you in
Yes.
mind for, doesn't
Yeah.
she? She's contacted us, which is
from Nova Scotia.
fantastic. She was wonderful.
Yeah.
So very excited to get another book. But Sheep to Shawl. So this little number.
So this came out of the Belleville Weaving and Spinning Guild. So the marketplace that we went to, and you entered a contest.
Yeah, they had a draw of products where anybody walking in, you could buy some tickets and fundraiser again and put your your little.
You're
tags
very
in.
fortunate at contests like that.
I wanted this beautiful little thing.
It is gorgeous.
And it was fleece to, what do you call it? How do you say it?
Sheep to shawl.
It went from that animal right here into my hands. All in one, one process at the same time. The same person from there, and here it is in my hands.
It's
and
gorgeous.
I love the gray natural color. Now, one thing is it's been a while, so they didn't recall the sheep that it was, but it's I would say it's quite soft.
local. Everything is local.
Everything is local.
Yeah.
Everything is local. The dyeing process local. The beautiful indigo blue and the natural gray.
Yeah.
And I happened to get
Win
a
it.
telephone call.
Yeah.
And here it is.
It's gorgeous.
I'm gonna wear it this winter.
Yep. It's fantastic. Why don't you put it on now?
Oh my goodness.
So while he's putting that on, I just wanted to thank everyone again for watching. Really appreciate it. And we love your comments. We love your comments. We love answering your comments. So again, just wanted
absolutely. And I feel like this is kind of our first sit down in a while, hasn't it? Just talking about things and this and that and the other and everything else we talk about. So yes, it's an opportunity once again to say thank you for the new subscribers, our followers, and our diligent watchers. We appreciate all of your ongoing comments, your support, because we know you're out there for us, and that means a lot to all of us.
So we hope you have a great week, everyone. And again, thank you for watching, and take care.
À la prochaine, mes amis.